it's bad for health. Like, it's an argument that I hear from people so much. It's bad for health. We buy a bunch of stuff all the time bad for health in the supermarkets. So it doesn't make sense. And alcohol is the worst drug
Yeah.
we have in terms of being dangerous
Right.
in society. And I told you, since I've been a public defender since 2009, I've been working on trials, only murders. And man, I've never seen in my life during this time, I've never seen anyone who used marijuana, who smoked and commits the murder, for example, after smoking.
Yeah.
And maybe half of the trials I have participated, people drank alcohol, some type of alcoholic drink, and committed the crime. So if you prohibit marijuana, you have to prohibit alcohol, but we're not crazy in terms of prohibiting alcohol. So because it's an argument that I consider essential for us to open our minds and legalize it. It doesn't make sense if a drug doesn't offer any type of danger, continues being prohibited by the government with no arguments for that.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd. Like I'm gonna get really high and go out and kill somebody. No, it generally like I think a positive effect of the drug is it stops people from doing a lot of the stuff that they were going to do, because then they forget about it, or they realize it was a little bit stupid to do. It was stupid anyway, or they realize, wait a second, I don't feel so angry anymore. Why don't I just go get some Coca-Cola and some popcorn and watch that film that I wanted to see? And so people tend to let things go a little bit, which I believe has a positive effect. I mean, in terms of health effects, I think we do need to analyze the mental health effects of it, particularly of the drug that I've seen people use here, the substance rather, that people have used here in Brazil, because I don't think that people really smoke marijuana here. I think people smoke something that's like
it's a mixture
of marijuana,
a bunch of shit people mix. And the thing is,
horrible,
if you legalize
shit.
If you legalize, it will be possible for the state to control the quality of the substance. You know, because nowadays people pay expensive. I mean, the intention of the law is to protect health. Okay, is to protect people from getting sick with the drug. That's the intention of the law. Because of that, the crime exists. And being prohibited, the drug is expensive. The drug is dangerous because it's a mixture of a bunch of shits they put together for people to smoke. And if you legalize, the states will have the control of the quality, and companies will invest in the quality, competing for the best product, and it's gonna and the states will make money with that. With people coming to Brazil, like in Amsterdam, for example, people are going to Amsterdam to smoke, and the country has been making a lot of money with taxes, with people going, tourism. And I think we can do the same, man. We can do the same thing. And if you go to you've ever been to Amsterdam before?
Have I been to Amsterdam?
Yeah, you've been.
I've been there 3 times.
3 times. I know that. And I've been only 1 time. But if you go to a coffee shop in Amsterdam, I went last year. If you go to a coffee shop in Amsterdam, it's the calmest place in the world, isn't it?
It's pretty
It's
chill
the
out, man.
calmest.
It's pretty chill out.
It's
Like,
huh?
it's pretty chilled out, man. It's pretty chill. It's pretty chill. Like, it's cool. It's a cool place.
It's cool. Yeah,
Like,
people are
the,
nice, man.
I'll tell you,
I
like,
don't smoke. I don't smoke. But man, it's a choice. It's a choice. Let people do it.
for me, it's been years, and there are multiple reasons for that. But at the end of the day, I don't really find any necessity for it, nor do I find it to be very positive for me. But in terms of the recreational value of it in a city like Amsterdam, yeah, man, you can smoke some and go ride some bikes. You can smoke some and get on the paddle boats. You can smoke some and walk around and see some cool stuff and eat some donuts and some pizza. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, you're probably not going to do anything that's wrong or damaging to the city or to the people there. And being that it's illegal, you're not feeding drug violence, and you're not feeding gangs, and you're not feeding an underworld of crime, and that's very important.
And you were creating jobs,
Mhm.
creating new jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So and you're actually kind of supporting the science behind it as well. So
in
there is
Amsterdam,
a science
you can find clothes from marijuana,
from hemp, right?
popsicle, lollipop,
Oh,
everything from marijuana.
man, I don't, who knows if this is true. It's one of those things they say. The sails that were used in the ships to get us to the Americas were made of hemp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's an incredible fiber. It's an incredible plant. It's very useful even for reforestation in terms of being a plant species that can help degraded land become more fertile because it can grow in very difficult situations. And these are plants that are
Mm-hmm.
incredibly useful if we're talking about rehabitating or making a deserted dry area somewhat more arable.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I was figuring what I was
Yeah,
gonna
there is
say.
a funny story because marijuana was criminalized in the United States for the first time in 1937. And that time, the users were Mexicans and jazz musicians. But white people, were very afraid because white women were going to jazz concerts to smoke marijuana, having sex with black guys. So it was the threat that time. So because of that, it was one of the reasons for the government to criminalize weed, criminalize marijuana. And it's in a documentary on Netflix.
Yeah,
It's funny.
it's pretty scary, right? It's pretty far out from our reality, right? And it's way as well for like I can't cover the necessarily women's liberation, but like to take a step out of the day-to-day stresses that they're dealing with. I've known a good amount of women who use marijuana. I have a student who says, when I get really stressed, I went to my psychologist and know what she said? Go buy some weed. Make you relax a little bit. Maybe you're just worried too much about all these things. You're worried about this and that. Like, help tone you down. It could have been very positive for a lot of these people who are in corporate America, working their hard jobs, trying to get ahead. So anyway, like I don't think there's any argument against it, against legalizing it.
Mhm.
There's no, okay, yeah, there's no arguments against criminalizing it. Sorry, cut all this out, Vinicius. I'm getting a little
No
bit tired.
arguments against legalizing. It's okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
against legalizing.
Yeah.
I think it's time to think about that because it's a moment for us to be more flexible in this type of thoughts. Like if a person wants to use, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. The states cannot regulate or cannot not regulate, but cannot prevents us from using what we want to use. You know, it's your body, so you want to do that, no problem. And people say, no, when you use marijuana, you are feeding the traffic, you are feeding the dealers, but you are feeding the dealers because it's prohibited. Because if it's legalized, there's no dealer anymore. So you can use it legally, paying taxes and generating
You could, right? You could.
jobs.
If it
You could.
wasn't, yeah, if it wasn't illegal, you wouldn't be
Mhm.
feeding traffic. Yeah, but yeah, so there's some very good reasons against not using it now. But really, in terms of the government, like it's a backwards law that doesn't make any sense, and you did a good job bringing up the history of it. And hopefully that will change, but I don't know when. Not probably not in the next couple of years here in Brazil. I don't looking into my crystal ball. I'm looking at these
Looking
next
ahead,
years. Looking at
looking
these next
ahead, I
years,
can
I'm
see in
pretty worried.
Brazil, I can see in Brazil marijuana legalized in 5 years for people to use recreationally. Like
Yeah.
only, yeah, 5 years. 5 years to legalize.
Well, Vinicius, let's make a bet. All right, let's make a bet, and we'll take a look at that in 2025. All right, man.
Okay.
Any other points you want to bring up?
No, man.
Okay, good.
We can finish.
Thank you for the discussion, Vinicius. Thank you for your ideas.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's research a good issue for us to talk about next class.
Yeah. Okay, man. Be well, man. Have a nice night.
You too, man. Take care.
Take care.